Hello everyone, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another cast, and this time it's going to be just a regular 2v2 ladder game, I believe, and it's going to be pretty interesting, and we're just going to go ahead and jump in and introduce these players. So over here in the top right hand corner, we can see as the red team, we're going to have the one, the only, and I do mean literally the only Protoss in this map. As you can see here on this minimap, he is the only Protoss. RompeTooPro. And his ally is going to be the one of three, the Zerg player CueKay, which could actually, I think, could be pronounced cookie? Cookie? Yeah, that's pretty clever. Anyways, their opponents in the bottom left-hand corner is going to be the two Zerg players, Typhoon, and his ally, who does not have a spawning pool yet, the one of three, actually the three of three, Warp. Okay, so forgive my failed introductions there. But anyways, it's going to be a ZZ versus a PZ. So we're going to have to find out exactly how this game is going to go. It looks like both of the Zerg players from that would be CueKay, who actually, I got a nickname the red team Coopy. Yes, Coopy. We're going to take the beginning of this name and merge it with the end of this name. And then this team is going to be Warfoon. I actually really like that name, Warfoon. Anyways, it looks like all of the spawning pools have been begun, and unfortunately, for, I guess, Rompy, it doesn't look like there's going to be a wall-off starting anytime soon. In fact, I actually don't see... Oh, here we go. It's the Proxy 2 gate. Oh, man, this could actually spell a little bit of disaster for Rompy's probe line, considering that not having that wall-off against this pretty early pool could cause a lot of problems. We do see that there are 6 Zerglings on the way. Soon to be 8, I believe. 8. Can we have 8 Zerglings? Actually, no. They're opting for the drone over from Typhoon. And these Zerglings are going to go ahead and poke around. This probe is going to come in and see what it can see. Not really too much. We will see all of these Zerglings, though. Doesn't quite get the chance to scout out what Warp is doing. But, you know, he's probably going to assume that there are these Zerglings out, and they are going to put on a little bit of pressure. And actually, oh, did Typhoon actually see this? Typhoon did see this Proxy 2 gate. He's going to be able to send his Zerglings over and try and do a little bit of damage, but oh no, he's actually going to get trapped in here with these Zerglings and a Zealot. So I'm not sure he's going to be able to do the damage and take out this pylon. If he could take out this pylon, it would be a critical blow to Rompy's attack. But oh no, the Zerglings even get surrounded. Their attack or runaway path gets completely cut off. They're going to run all the way around, and it looks like that's going to keep... Oh no, CueKay and Rompy is actually just going to chill over here. Looks like we do have some Banelings being morphed. That's going to really be difficult to deal with, considering there is no Roach Warren or anything down for our 2 Zerg players. Now, Typhoon does not see the Banelings yet. They have no idea what exactly is about to come down there, down into their base, and it looks like Warp does seem to have 2 Spine Crawlers building, so that's definitely going to help against the Banelings, as these Zerglings are going to have a hard time. And it looks like, oh, did he see? Oh, he just barely missed these Banelings. Oh man, this is going to hurt so badly. I am not sure that these blue Zerg players are going to be able to hold this off. It looks like the Spine Crawler isn't even burned. Oh no, the drones are going to go ahead and run after seeing these Banelings. This Banling actually not being able to do too much damage. The second Spine Crawler going down. And it looks like there's a lot of Zerglings for Warp, the blue Zerg player, but I'm not sure if he can really get in there with the threat of these 2 Banelings. He's going to have to try and get these Banelings to blow up on just a couple of his Zerglings. These Zealots doing insane amounts of damage, and we can see that there are, in fact, a supply block over here, so there are not going to be too many more Zealots streaming forward, but I'm not sure if they're going to need any more Zealots. These Zerglings are going to try and do whatever damage they can, maybe try and get surround on these Zealots, but not really being able to get... Oh, there we go. That's the money surround. The Zerglings are going to attack the Zealots, and the Zealots are actually on a move command, so they don't end up doing anything. Meanwhile, we do see that 2 more Zealots are on the way, but these Zerglings and these Zealots are going to do huge amount of damage to the Zergling count of Warp. We can see over here in the unit counting station that, in fact, the 2 blue Zerg players are pretty low on their drone count, and Typhoon, the one with a decent number of drones, is actually just not able to mine right now because of all of these Zealots and these Banelings. So I'm not really sure how good of a position these 2 Zerg players are in. It's going to be really down to the micro and to see if they can clean up this Zealot pressure. We do see that these Zealots are racking up insane number of Zergling kills. 3 kills on this Zealot, 6 kills on this Zealot, and it looks like this hatchery is going to go down unless the blue Zerg players are able to do anything about it. I'm not sure that they will be. Meanwhile, we do see a huge another influx of Zerglings coming in. I wouldn't be too surprised to see some of those being morphed into Banelings again. And in fact, it looks like that same Zerg player, the red Zerg player, is going to even start producing a couple of drones. We do see that one drone being produced over there. Just now, it looks like Typhoon losing his hatchery, not really too sure what to do. It's going to be up to Warp to see how well he can really hold off any big attacks and really come back into this game. He did manage to depower the pylon, so that's going to be a pretty big blow. Ooh, losing 4 Zerglings to that 1 Baneling, not entirely ideal, but having had that pylon completely destroyed, unpowering these 2 gateways, I don't think the Protoss has any other production coming out. So the Protoss player is going to be stuck with whatever he has. He might actually be wise to try and expand or something with this extra money that he's accumulated. You can see he has built up quite a bit of a bank, plenty to expand and really try and transition a little bit out of this as he tries to get that new pylon up. But it looks like we do not have actually any tech up for the Zerg player over here. He's just going to go... Oh, he does actually have this Roach Horn. So the Roaches are going to be a huge help. We do see 1 Roach on the way. I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough. It looks like all of these units on hold position. Actually kind of wasting a Baneling there on just a couple of Zerglings. Probably wants to build up a huge Baneling count right now. As we can see here, 5 Banelings already done. That's going to be able to do huge damage to the currently only Zergling army. But we do see a couple of more Zerglings popping, as well as this Roach. Now, this Roach is not going to be able to do all the damage it needs to do against this army, but it will certainly help. It looks like the Banelings are coming in. They're looking for those Zerglings. They are getting targets fired down by the Spine Crawler. So great micro from the blue Zerg, but it looks like these Zealots are going to do a huge amount of target fire. And oh my god, the Banelings explode on so many Zerglings, and the Zerglings for the blue Zerg players are getting completely outnumbered, but it looks like, oh my god, a miracle hold from these 2 queens and this 1 Roach only really getting 1 kill. But, taking quite a bit of damage. Roaches can take quite a bit of damage from these Zerglings, but he will have to be careful. He is going to be building 6 more Roaches. That's going to be a huge win for the Zerg players. Meanwhile, we do see that the Protoss player is finally starting to mine some of that gas, throwing down that cybernetics core. We're going to have to see if he can transition to Stalkers properly and deal with some of these Roaches. Looks like, oh no, Typhoon trying to re-expand, but it looks like he needs to get cancel. I mean, he doesn't get the cancel. Oh wow, that really hurts. That means that Typhoon is actually down 300 minerals, not enough to build a hatchery. He's going to have to ask for his ally Warp to actually help him rebuild that. And these drones really out for blood. These Zealots just killed one of their best friends. They want to make sure that that Zealot pays, and they do end up getting the kill. But oh no, the Roach is actually going to get surrounded by these Zerglings, and that's not what you want to have happen with these Roaches. The blue Protoss player, sorry, the blue Zerg player is already in a pretty tough position, and I'm not sure that he can really afford to lose these units. He is going to be able to pick off quite a few of these units and do a little bit of kiting action against the red players' armies. But I just really do not like the situation that Warp is in right now. If we go back to the unit counting station, it looks like the Zerg players are not doing too poorly on those drones. Actually, it looks like, Typhoon down to just 6 workers, while we do see that Warp is at 22 with the second highest number of workers. The Protoss player leading over with 25 workers, and you know, these roaches trying to do a little bit more damage, but it looks like the stalkers are finally out from the Protoss Zerg team up in the top right hand corner. And it looks like these Zerglings are going to maybe try and get us around. No, not really able to get it. We do see that the Zergling speed is on the way. So maybe in a little bit, those Zerglings will be able to get a nice surround on these roaches, prevent them from running if they overcommit and go out too far. But not for now. It looks like Typhoon is actually going to try and sneak these probes out, and it looks like he will actually see exactly what's going on thanks to this very handy-dandy Overlord. And oh no, that's 5 of his 6 drones. Oh, and they're all going to get picked off. There's nothing that Typhoon can really do to save those. And we do see these very standard 4 gateway, nope, warp gate just about halfway done at the 12-minute mark almost. Ooh, actually almost getting a stalker there. Not quite getting it, as Zergling speed is not quite finished for the blue player. But, yeah, I'm really not too sure how well... Oh, no! Actually, Warp might be overcommitting over here, sending all of these units over here. If he can get this pylon, that would be a huge win. But, you know, he's going to be trapped. These roaches and these Zerglings are not going to escape. There's no way in hell that they're going to escape. But he might be able to get a nice little attack flank over here at this choke. But it looks like, no, these Zerglings do get a pretty good surface area on these roaches. I'm not too sure that the blue Zerg player is going to have the advantage in this battle. These Zerglings are taking a lot of damage while these stalkers are able to dish out all the damage they do need to do against these roaches, and all these roaches are going to get cleaned up with actually 0 pylons being taken down. Actually, 2 pylons now walling in this one stalker, and he's going to be a little bit of a sad panda, but at least the Zerglings won't be able to kill him. This is basically the the Protoss equivalent of a bunker. You build 3 warp gates around a unit, and then you build 2 pylons to wall it in. It's very safe for Stalker. He has basically a 400 shield tank. He doesn't have to worry about those Zerglings. Meanwhile, it looks like Rompy actually going to go ahead and pull... Okay, just one probe. Hold on, guys. Don't worry. Nobody's going to expand here except for CueKay. Or, sorry, CueKay. CueKay is going to be the only Zerg in this game that's going to expand. Unless we count Warp, who's going to expand on his ally's dead corpse. Now, that's kind of a bit of a shocker. You know, have a little bit of respect for it. Ooh, the Zergling spawning pool going to go down. That's a little bit sad. These Broodlings not really able to fulfill their life mission of picking off a single zealot. And we are going to see Warp turn to spread a little bit of creep. And I'm not sure how far he's actually going to be able to get it before the red players decide to push up this ramp. I'm not sure that these number of roaches is actually going to be able to hold off. He probably does expect that an attack is coming up pretty soon, as he does have these 2 spine crawlers burrowing at the front, as well as this 3rd one being built. He's going to go ahead and poke around, try and see what he can see. Maybe just force a couple of units to accidentally walk up the ramp, get a free couple of units. Meanwhile, it looks like Rompy's going to continue to make units. CueKay is going to try and make maybe a few drones. Yeah, he's going to try and populate this expansion up. He will then have an economic lead if he can get that up. Over, you know, the two-basing Warp, who, you know, is doing okay in this game, but, you know, the Protoss player is now expanding, and he's up against, realistically, going to be 3 base. If not 4 once this expansion comes up, because he's on 1 versus 2, and the longer that this game goes means the less of a chance he'll have, because both of these players are going to be able to max out at 200 of 200 supply, and Warp is going to be stuck at 200 supply against a 400 supply army, and that's really just not going to be good. And this is what I was talking about, where you can just pull a couple of units, get a free kill, couple of free kills. These 2 stalkers. Oh, it looks like that 1 stalker is going to make it back, but that 1 Zergling and that 1 stalker, definitely a nice win for Warp. He wants to do as much damage as he can with that kind of stuff, and it looks like they aren't going to decide to stay on hold position or anything, so Warp might have that option to do that again if the red team is not paying quite enough attention. Now this is Overlord, going to be a little bit ballsy, but he's going to go ahead and spot this creep over here. He's going to immediately know that there is an expansion over there, and you know, I almost want to call this an expansion, but it's really not quite an expansion. I mean, he isn't going to be mining here, but I mean, he's already building infrastructure here. He's going to be able to warp in units to defend the Nexus that can't really go here. But, you know, that's not too big an issue. Now, this Overlord is going to go ahead and suicide into this Queen. A little bit of a sad Overlord. Not going to really spot. Oh, he's going to try and run away, guys. Can he make it? Can he make it? He's not going to make it. But he might. Just maybe. If you believe in the train of happiness and pleasure, he might. He's just going to explode. And there is where his blood's going to go. Maybe a drone will be able to mine that. Get a little, maybe make some larva out of it. I don't know. Does look like, ooh, I really do like this play. Warp kind of just get apparently research burrows so we can do a little bit of scouting action. Maybe even get a little bit of harassment if you can get these roaches out to one of the expansions. Ooh, looks like a little bit of a miss rally. That's definitely gonna hurt. As actually no, that was in fact I think Typhoon, the dead Zerg player's Overlord. So not going to hurt too much. Nobody's going to get really supply blocked, except for Warp is now supply blocked, as right as I say that. But these roaches are going to... I'm sorry, I was a little bit thrown off, as there is a proxy robotics facility right next to the Zerg base. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. He's going to Chrono Boost out an Immortal, as opposed to the Observer that would pop out and immediately kill off all of these roaches. But you know, I would say that the red team is feeling pretty darn comfortable right now. We do see that the lair tech is already done for the red Zerg player, and he's going to have that Spire on the way. He's going to have 4 gas geysers to mine out of, so maybe to get a huge Mutalisk count. Wouldn't be too surprised if we saw him maybe building up a big gas count. These roaches should be careful, as I don't really agree with keeping these roaches here right now. As he doesn't really know if there's going to be an observer popping out. He does see that something is building, but ooh, it looks like a warp is going to go in with a lot of stuff. It's going to explode. So many of the banelings are just going to explode right there, dealing a lot of damage and picking up a lot of CueKay's banelings. And a pretty nice flank over here. We do see the roaches coming from the bottom left, or sorry, the bottom right hand corner, and the Zerglings actually trying to go around. I'm not really sure. It looks like Warp is being a little bit indecisive. The Stalkers kind of coming into the battle a little bit late. The Zerglings finally going around and trying to get a surround on the Stalkers. Gain a decent surround, and it looks like he might actually be able to clean this up. I'm not sure if the Roach count is quite enough, but the Zerglings are definitely going to add a lot of DPS into this, and I think that he might be able to clean up. Yes, there's going to be another Warp in. I'm not sure if I agree with this Warp in, as it looks like all of his units are going to get cleaned up, but he might just barely be able to hold off against these Roaches. No! The Roaches are going to overpower all of these Stalkers, and the Stalkers are all going to die. The wasted Warp in, the proxy robotics facility, all going to go down. It looks like we do see a ping over here, because there's an Overlord, I guess, and CueKay really wanted to kill off that Overlord, or maybe he was just saying, hey, or maybe it was just Warp saying, hey, look, there's a Spire over here, we should do something about that. Oh, these Zerglings going to have a lot of fun trying to pick off these pylons, but, you know, not a lot of surface area to really do that. And actually, did Rompe actually make any more? Oh my god, Rompe didn't make any more warp gates. This is his entire infrastructure for rebuilding an army. That is really not good. We do see that there are Mutalisks on the way, as these Roaches are trying to do as much damage as possible, and these Zerglings trying to delay these Roaches as much as possible, but it looks like the Queen is going to get picked off. That's going to hurt the larva production for the red Zerg player, but the Mutalisks are out, and that's going to put a timer on how much damage these Roaches are going to be able to do. How many kills can they get? It looks like they are doing a pretty decent job of picking up a couple of these drones. As you know, this one Mutalisk is really not going to do, or sorry, 3 Mutalisks are really not going to do a whole lot of damage to these Roaches. And now we do see finally those other Mutalisks coming in. They're going to finally be able to pick off these Roaches. But you know, the Roaches did quite a bit of damage to the economy. They did pick off at least a good 7 or maybe 8 workers. So pretty good for the blue Zerg players, doing a good job. And it looks like there is going to be a potential Zergling run by. He is going to send these Zerglings straight into the mining base of this. He's going to send his Zerglings straight into the mining base of this Protoss over here, and that's actually a lot of probes, and is he actually going to do it? There he does. This Mutalisk is going to spot it though, and there is going to be an immediate reaction. These Mutalisks are heading over, but these Zerglings are going to do a huge amount of damage to this number of probes. Oh no, actually just a regular attack move, not going to be able to do quite as much damage as you like. Now we see the Zerglings getting a great surround on those probes, all of those probes finally going down, and now those probes finally actually mineral walking away from the Zerglings, not really giving them the surround anymore. Typhoon finally being eliminated, probably getting that last Overlord picked off, and he's going to be a little bit of a sad panda, but maybe Warp is going to... Oh, wow! Warp is going to get the snipe on the Spire! That's going to be a huge win! And then he's going to get the... Oh, great play! The burrow on these roaches. They're going to be able to get away scot-free unless... Oh, he does decide to go for that queen. Going to lose a few of those roaches, but he will be able to regenerate a lot of that health. Looks like CueKay not really planning to build an Overseer until just now. So Warp is probably going to have to back off with these roaches if he wants to keep them alive, as that Overseer is going to be coming out. But you know he's going to go for a target fire on the hatchery. No, he's just going to go for drones. I do like that play a lot better than target firing the hatchery. Target firing the hatchery would be a little bit more of a risky play, as you know he wouldn't. But if he ends up losing those roaches, he wouldn't get the hatchery at all, and then there's no damage done. But this Overseer is going to put an end to these roaches and their little harassment tactics. They are going to try and run away, but unfortunately, Mutalisk will fly a lot faster than roaches moving off of creep, even with the speed upgrade. So that's going to be a little bit sad for Warp, doing a nice little split attempt there to save one of his roaches and maybe get off a scout over here. Oh, he is going to see the expansion, so that is a pretty good use of those units that were going to die anyways. I do like that. Warp being a little bit careless with these overlords, and actually, wow, Warp down quite a bit in supply, down to just 50 supply as of, wow, the Protoss player actually losing quite a bit of supply himself, down to just 27 supply. But we do see this pretty darn huge flock of Mutalisks. And does Warp have a response? He only has these two bases, and only one of them is mining. He does have a decent number of Hydros and Infestation Pit on the way, but I'm not sure that these Hydros are going to be enough. He's going to have to depend on using these Spore Crawlers to really fight off these Mutalisks until he can handle these Mutalisks with Infestors. And it looks like the Hydros are going to go in. They're going to see how much damage they can do. Baiting them into the Spore Crawlers, getting a pretty decent amount of damage, but the Mutalisks are finally deciding to back off. This creep is going to be huge in trying to kite these Mutalisks and make sure that they don't do too much damage, make sure that they can't just immediately kill off all of these Hydralisks if they get a little bit out of position. We do see that Warp has trying to take a third over here, a little bit of a late third, as he is no longer mining out of the minerals at his main base. Oh, but we do see a great Zergling run by. He's going to be able to pop off so many of the probes of Rombi. And, you know, Rombi down to, let's see, how many probes? Just 9 probes, 8 probes, soon to be 7. And Rombi, I would say, is looking like he's not probably the most happy camper in the world. He is mining quite a bit of gas, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he was maybe sending some of that gas over to his Zerg ally to build some more Mutalisks. And actually, the Spire did in fact get rebuilt, and it looks like, oh no! Warp actually losing that third expansion to these Mutalisks, and I would say that's a great play from CueKay, doing a good job making sure that Warp does not get a chance to start mining off of any more bases. If there's one thing that, you know, the Red Zerg player can do to secure this game is make sure that Warp can no longer mine off of any more bases, and he does have to be a little bit careful. We do see that there are 6 Infestors on the way, and with this Pathogen Glands upgrade, oh, that's a tongue twister, he will be able to get out 7 Fungals on these Mutalisks that are over here, just cleaning up some of those Zerglings. And he's going to have to be really careful about that, because that right now, that is his biggest advantage. That, as well as having this 2 mining bases up right now. As if he can secure those 2 advantages, he will be in a great position to win this game. Now, there are a couple of Stalkers out from Rombi. He's not completely down and out of it yet. He does still have, by some miracle, this Nexus that didn't quite get target fired down entirely. It was pretty darn close to dying to those Zerglings, but, you know, the Mutalisk managed to save it. So Rompi's going to be a pretty happy camper in that sense. Although he probably should transfer a couple of these workers over, as he probably does want minerals, and right now he's really only mining minerals with 4 workers, because only 2 of these workers are really, actually, I take that back, only really mining with 2 workers, as now the minerals are gone, and he's going to have to transfer those over pretty soon. Now, I really do love Warp's use of these zergling run-bys. He's been doing them all game, and they've been so effective. Meanwhile, Warp is going to try and secure this, but I'm not sure. Wow, that's actually just barely out of range, so nice little win for Warp if that doesn't get scouted immediately. Now, Warp is also going to get this nice little win over here by picking out this Queen and then potentially getting a couple of these drones. So we can see over here in the drone count, we do see 37 going lower and lower of drones, and actually popping back up to 44 as some more pop, but gonna shoot back down as Warp is actually slowly starting to catch up. Rompy trying to rebuild some of his drones, and finally those zerglings do get cleaned up, and that is so many mutalisks, and I actually wonder what are the 0 upgrades on these mutalisks, so not the greatest job doing, not really doing the greatest job on upgrades on his mutalisks, or really his roaches. I'm pretty sure he hasn't really built too many roaches, so I don't blame him too much on not getting upgrades there, but wow, that's a lot of infestors, and with these hydralisks, he's going to be able to do a great job of locking down these suckers. Not that they have blink anyways, but they're completely dead in the water. They're not going to do anything, and this expansion is going to get up just barely in the red, but oh my god, the mutalisks are going to come in soon, and it's going to come down to how good the fungals can be. If Warp can get great fungals off on these mutalisks, they're clumping up, and Warp has to be so... Warp has to be so careful about these infestors. If he can get off the great money fungals on these mutalisks, the biggest advantage in the game right now will kind of be superseded, as, you know, the scariest thing in this game is this huge mutalisk clump, and, you know, the red Zerg player CueKay doesn't know that. That's why he's being so careful keeping the mutalisks back, but he has to be super careful. Oh no, they're clumping up, that's such a painful fungal. He has to chain it. Oh, and there's the second fungal. If he can get 2 more, he should be able to kill off the mutalisks, but oh no, the infestors are getting target fired down by these stalkers. 1 more, and he's gonna kill so many of these mutalisks. Just 1 more in the Zerg. Oh my god, and pop goes the weasel. How many, maybe 4 or 5 mutalisks finally remain. A couple of infested Terrans now being lobbed out. These infestors don't actually have enough energy for any more fungals, but it doesn't really matter. These infested Terran are, and the remaining Hydralisk, the one Hydralisk, the Slayer Hydralisk, gonna clean up everything. And now these infestors are gonna be able to burrow, and you know, with those mutalisks gone, that means that Warp can finally start mining at this third that he needed oh so desperately. Now he does still have to be careful, as actually CueKay not really mining off of his natural expansion. He has to be very careful about that. He really does want to rebuild those drones. It looks like we do see 10 more drones on the way, so that's going to really help get this expansion back up in mining. But those zergling counterattacks doing quite a number on the mining bases for CueKay. And, you know, doing a good job of picking off some of those overlords. Not really going to supply block them, but, you know, shut down some of that map vision, as we can see over here. Oh, no, actually it doesn't look like there's any more harassment going on. But, you know, I do like the positioning of CueKay's units now, as he does have a couple of roaches at each of these bases, just to try and shut down any more of those zergling run-bys that have been so effective. As well as these 3 spine crawlers over here at this third base. It's such a great play, it's such smart play from CueKay. Hopefully it's not a little bit too late though, as actually, I really like this play from Warp. Another great tactic he can use to really get back into this game. Not that he isn't doing a fantastic job already, but these burrowed infestors will be able to get off some great fungals. Oh, the infestors are coming in. Will they unburrow? Will they throw infested Terran? It's going to come down to which one he decides to do, and I'm just waiting to see. He might actually even be able to get this Nexus if he does decide to use infested Terran. It looks like he's going to go secretly behind the mineral line. We do see a couple more Zerglings here positioned for a counterattack at the third. He's going to be doing a double prong aggression, and you know, these Zerglings are actually spotted by this Overlord, but looks like the Zerglings are going to go in. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that the infestors do something while these Zerglings go in. Oh, the Zerglings a little bit indecision, deciding whether he should actually attack these cyclones. Oh, wow, that's a lot of Banelings. Oh my god, he's going to be able to massacre this drone line, and oh my god, the drone's not moving at all. All of the drones are going to go down. Every single one of them. Not quite every single one of them. But now we do see that these infestors are going to be over here. The Templar Archives going down. But Warp sees everything. He sees everything with these amazingly placed infestors. There's no cannons, there's no observers, there's no overseer. He's just going to dance around and maybe not do anything at all. There the infested Terrans are going down. And is this going to be enough to kill off these roaches and kill off the Nexus? It's going to be close. I'm not sure whether or not... Oh, looks like actually... You see here in the unit counting station, there's only 4 Mutalisks, and the Red Zergler doesn't have anything to respond. The Nexus is going to go down. Oh my god. A fabulous play, and he's even going to get the Templar Archives. That's going to be another huge win. Might even get the Twilight Council, which will set the Red Protoss player for even further back. A great use of just, 3 infested infestors. Sorry. I'm not really sure what CueKay could have really done to respond to that anyways, as, so many of these units were out of position, and even if he had them in position, what is he going to do? Use Banelings on an infested Terran? That's really not what you want to be using your Banelings on, especially when you constantly lose all of your workers to these, Zergling run-bys, and you're already spending all of your money trying to rebuild those workers. Now, there is a nice win that he does have this Overseer here. He is going to pick off 3 of those infestors, which is going to hurt, but those infestors lived their lives as they wanted to. They got all of the wins that they really needed to in this game. They're going to have a happy time in the afterlife where they're greeted by, 40 Virgin Zerglings. These Zerglings are actually going to have a great time killing off all of these probes. I'm really curious if the Protoss player is even going to notice, finally noticing. Kind of surprised he didn't notice a little bit sooner. He doesn't really have a lot to do, since he's not really mining anywhere right now. But these Banelings are going to clean up the... Oh! Bit of overkill on those 4 Zerglings, losing about 5 or 6 Banelings. I'm really curious how that actually happened. Gonna have to be super careful about that. These infestors gonna go up to the top. Wouldn't be too surprised if we saw these infestors trying to do a little bit of damage here, but we do see this Overseer, actually 2 Overseers over here. Looks like, actually, I think that all of the pings are Typhoon, the dead Zerg, pinging to Warp to make sure that they do a successful job in picking off everything and making sure that everything is going well in the world for Warp. So Typhoon keeping a good eye on that minimap, making sure everything is seen, and these infestors not going to be able to do too much damage. Going to be super careful, and he does see that Spine Crawler attacks his infestors, going to go ahead and back off. So well controlled over there by Warp. Warp actually taking a 5th base, as he has already started mining from here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him take these 2 gas guys pretty soon, as gas is probably going to be the #1 resource that he's going to want. He is still mining gas off of this natural, his dead ally Typhoon's expansion. So that's going to be pretty helpful. Actually, he has 4 workers on there, so a little bit of a mistake, but not too big of a deal. Now we do see, Hive Tech coming up from Warp, as well as more infestors. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Does he go for the Spire, or does he go for Ultralisk? I'm thinking Ultralisk, as I don't see a Spire down quite yet. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Look forward to that. Ultralisk, Hydralisk, Infestor, Roach. That's a pretty scary composition, especially when you only have 4 Mutalisks and a handful of Zerglings and Roaches. This is looking grimmer and grimmer for CueKay, but he's not going to lose hope. He's going to go ahead and take the gold expansion with a hatchery next to the rocks, because I don't think he really has the army to knock that down in time, although he's really not doing too much with his army right now, so I'm a little bit sad that he's not doing anything with that right now. CueKay actually going to go ahead and double expand, see how much damage he can do, but these infestors, they're back for more. His Templar Archives did not get picked off, so he's going to see if he can pick off even more of these poor Protoss player. Oh, he's going to feel so sad. He's just constantly getting harassed. And now all of the probes are going to die. All of them. Oh, it looks like 4 probes are going to get away. Now there's the target fire on the Nexus. The Nexus is going to go down for probably the oomphiest time. A little bit sad for Protoss player. I really do feel bad for him in this situation. But the Temple Archive's also going to go down now. These Zerglings a little bit late to the party, realizing, you know what, let's not waste our lives. These Infested Terran are going to commit suicide in 3, 2, 1. Shoot themselves in the face. A little bit sad, but you know, I guess their work there was done. They killed off quite a bit, and those Infestors are finally going to die as well. But you know, their life is also complete once again, picking off so much stuff. And I really have to hand it to Warp, doing such a fantastic job with all this multi-prong harass, the Zergling run-bys, the Infested Terrans, shutting down expansions after expansion, finally getting those money fungals on those Mutalisks, really bringing Warp back into the game in a 1 versus 2 battle. I also want to give it props to Typhoon, as he's probably helping a lot with the control for Warp with all of this multi-pronged harass. I wouldn't be too surprised if they had share control on. It looks like there's going to be a pretty big attack over here. It looks like the Infestors are going to have to shut down some of these Mutalisks, as the Mutalisks are doing quite a bit of damage, but these Banelings doing quite a bit of damage as well, and the upgrades of 0-2 on these Roaches and 0-0. So these Roaches are going to clean up these other red Roaches pretty darn easily. The Infestors not really getting a chance to lock down any of the other red team Roaches or the Mutalisks as they probably wanted to, but you know, still doing a good job staying alive while burrowed, and that's really important. Now we do see, wow, 21 more Roaches, so it looks like Warp probably looking to end it pretty soon. Actually even morphing a couple of Banelings, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw them going down over here to the gold expansion, or maybe up here, or even over here. But again, just all of this multi-pronged harass is just doing wonders for the blue Zerg players. And these Infestors probably want to do a little bit more damage. As you can see here, he does know that this Nexus is over here. These 3 Roaches are going to have a heyday with an empty Nexus. Slowly but surely, they're going to knock down this Nexus. But, oh wow, I really even love how Warp is still splitting up all of his units. He knows that the red Zerg and the red Protoss players just don't have enough units to deal with all of these units in lots of different locations. So he's just going to send them everywhere, and these Banelings are going to get huge hits, and there goes the entire mineral line. Oh, that never gets old, no matter how long you play StarCraft. Just watching Banelings killing off workers never gets old. Unless you're actually the one getting, with the workers getting killed, then it's just the most painful thing in the world. Now this hatchery is getting cooked off. It wasn't really mining, so it wasn't really doing too much for the red Zerg player anyways. But, you know, a couple of Roaches over here picking up a Nexus, the Baneling harass over here, and then the Roaches over here doing great damage to the hatchery, and now the Roaches actually moving up to the top left. Again, all of this multi-pronged grass. And see, now these Roaches are going to get cleaned up by the Infestors that are just popping from CueKay and the Zerglings, but that means that Warp is going to have a fun time shutting down this expansion. And, you know, CueKay really won't be able to respond quite in time. He's going to be able to target fire down this hatchery, and wouldn't be surprised if he just decided to burrow right afterwards. Even has a couple of Roaches over here to slow him down. And, you know, how many bases is really CueKay mining off of now? Just one over here. And, you know, barely not really mining over here. But, oh no, he might actually even be able to target fire down this hatchery. No, he's going to decide to pull back with all these Roaches. He doesn't want to lose too many Roaches, as he doesn't want to trade too inefficiently. Even that burrow, making sure that he keeps as much alive as possible. Warp now actually up to almost 6 base, I think. 7 base. Would love to see an Ultralisk Cavern or something. Then we could see that great Ultralisk drop harass. That would actually just completely make my day and seal the deal for this game. But doesn't look like we're going to see that. Looks like we see another 5 unit hit squad going up to make sure that nothing else fishy is going on. And, you know, kind of curious, he doesn't actually have the Xel'Naga Watchtower, which wouldn't be too hard to take from him, but, you know, no big deal. He's just going to send his units around. See, probably wouldn't be surprised if he actually decided to group up and just go for one final death push. Although this army is looking kind of scary, I'm really curious. Ooh. CueKay slowly starting to get more and more maxed, while Warp is actually maxed out on his army of Roach, Hydra, and Fester. So Warp is going to have a hard time improving his army. He is going to go ahead and get that +3 missile attacks and get a couple more infestors, as he already has quite a few infestors. We can see over here he does have 12 infestors. But you know, I would really like to see Warp go ahead and just go for one kind of final death wish. I have been complimenting Warp on all his great multi-prong harass, and where is that sound? Oh, there are these three roaches knocking down these boulders. But here we go. You know, multi-pronged aggression is great, but at some point you do have to end the game, and it looks like this is the time. My computer has actually been spazzing out and actually using up a lot of CPU, so please ignore the fact that it's lagging just a little bit. Picking out the queen. Now I'm going to be able to pick off this hatchery, and once again, CueKay has no mining bases. He does have quite a... Oh my god, that's so much gas built up. But can he really stop this death army? He does have a pretty decent army of his own, but it's a little bit out of position. He's going to end up losing this expansion, and that expansion is really the only mining base he has. He's going to have to make do with about 1,000 minerals once he loses this, and now he's going to get into position. He's going to get a pretty decent position on this army. Oh no, actually, Warp not really in the greatest position. Not all of his units really attacking the army, but those money fungals, oh my god, I'm not sure it's going to matter. Warp just really overpowering with invasive Terran fungals and just more units. And now even the infestors getting fungled. Oh, that's so painful. They do finally get their fungal and growths out. But, you know, the infestors are going to pop, and that's going to spell the end for the Red Zerg players' chances of really being able to do too much. CueKay finally leaving the game, and that means that the Red Zerg, or Red Protoss player is also going to leave as well. And we can see here, dear God, that's an amazing creep spread. But you know what? This creep spread, this amazing harassment style from Warp, sending Zerglings all across the map, as well as just finally doing that great death push use of the infestors. I think Warp did a great job of coming back into this game, even ending the game max. 25 more roaches. He doesn't care that he just lost most of his army in an inefficient trade. That is going to be... So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this. Still just going to work on my casting a little bit. I know I'm not really the greatest job casting right now. I'm still working on a lot of different things. But hey, this is going to be great preparation for the future. So if you like what I'm doing, if you even think that there's a potential that you could like what I'm doing in the future if I keep working at it, please subscribe to twitch.tv/FearDragon64. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel where all of these videos are going to be going up. And that's going to be youtube.com/FearDragon64. This has been Fear Dragon, and thanks for tuning in again. I will see you guys later.